this is like take 6 of me trying to say that we are overhyping Final Fantasy XIV. Now, I love Final Fantasy XIV. I love it to a fault. But the way we're hyping it up, it just seems like we're setting it up to fail. I'm not saying we're cyberpunking it or anything. I'm just saying, like, all these new players coming from WoW or Guild Wars or whatever game they're coming from, or just people who want to start an MMO. We're telling them to expect perfection. We're telling them to expect the best MMO you've ever played. We're expecting you to play the best story you've ever played in any game. And it seems like not a lot of people are willing to talk about the negatives of Final Fantasy. So, you know what? I'll be the one who does it. These are some negative things you should know about Final Fantasy. First off, the one that comes straight to my head is the completely overhyped story. Yeah, no, I said that. The problem is, it's a Final Fantasy game. And the Final Fantasy community, I love them, but they will overhype anything with Final Fantasy on it. Unless if it's 13. Because they just hate 13. You know, they love Cloud for the same reasons they hate Lightning. That's the Final Fantasy community in a nutshell. A Realm Reborn is super boring. It's dull and the pacing just doesn't work. The dungeons are like, I don't remember. I remember the quicksand dungeon. I remember the one with the scorpion at the end. But the Realm Reborn story arc, it drags. You have to like dance in fairies and Heaven's Ward is good. I really like the Heaven and Hell theme that Heaven's Ward pulls off. Good. Stormblood, I hated Stormblood. Like, Stormblood did not grab me at all. Shadowbringers is very good. But the problem is, it's good for an MMO. There are a lot of good memorable moments, like the final, not the final confrontation, but where everything goes to the head, and you're like puking glitter, and your lights about to, I can't spoil it, but it's that scene's really good. But I feel like everyone who calls Shadowbringers the best JRPG ever, or anything like that, I think it's good, but I don't think it's like Tales of Berseria good. I think Velvet's story arc was really good. I still haven't seen one better in a JRPG. Another thing you need to know is that, so it's interesting about the friendliness of Final Fantasy. Because I was kicked out of a few dungeons when I first started. They're like, wow, this guy doesn't know how to tank, kick him. We're not going to make it through that. And then, looking back at it, whoever kicks anyone out of a low-ranked dungeon like that, yeah. Also, you need to know that friendliness dissolves when you get into Savage. The Savage community is not nice. The Savage community is not friendly. The Savage community does not have time for you to mess up. And if you're a solo player in Party Finder, good luck. I just did the diamond weapon this season, and that was my first current tier savage. Took me about 3 weeks. You get into a learning party, and you mess up a few times, and you're either gonna get kicked, or everyone's just gonna ditch and fail, and just... And I understand, like, you want to get in, do your job, and get out. I just want you to know, when it comes to the savage part, that's when the MMO players come out to play. The savage community is not going to hold your hand. You got to watch guides and things, because for the most part, they probably won't teach you. You'll have one guy who pretends to be nice, and then he'll just say, I gotta go. So beware of that. I don't want you thinking like, oh, I'll go into Savage and someone's gonna teach me, so I'll be okay. Nope. 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 That friendliness wears off in Savage. Just to let you know. And that's not the game's fault. That's not even the player's fault, right? If you just want to go in, do a boss, you want competent people. I'm just saying, they're not as friendly as you might think in Savage. I don't know if it's a negative, but I do wish Final Fantasy had the over-the-top armor. Wow, Guild Wars do. Final Fantasy armor seems pretty grounded in reality. They don't have the big shoulder pads, they don't have the giant boots or anything like that. Once in a while you'll find like the Alexander shoulder pads that have spikes. I think the Eden verse is really good, but yeah, I just wish they could get more fantasy with the armor. A lot of characters. There's a lot of characters I don't care about. And you're not gonna like them all. Remember, it sounds like I'm bashing on the Final Fantasy community, but of course a Final Fantasy player loves the characters, but to a normal person, some of them are cringe, right? Yestola is kind of naggy. I hate Thancred. He's just an egotistical jerk who takes my credit. And he's kind of a creep in Shadowbringers. I don't want to get into it, but he's like, get over it, dude. Like, get over it. And that's all I can say about Thancred and Shadowbringers is get over it. I don't mind the twins. The twins actually don't bug me. Estinian is just too edgy. I hate anime characters with white hair. Edgy, white-haired anime characters are just an automatic dislike for me. Who else is there? Oh, the Shakespeare dude. He's okay. Once you learn how he talks, he's fine. But I just wish he could talk English! Headphone warning. Who else is there? I feel like there's someone else. No, I guess not, huh? Spoiler, I can't get into what? Yeah, okay. And then you'll meet characters along the way and things, but for the most part, I'm okay with the twins. I'm okay with the Shakespeare dude. Yestola has moments, but she's more naggy than she is anything else. And, oh my gosh, I hope Thancred dies and Walker, please kill him off. Egotistical jerk. Emic Silt is really good, though. He's a good bad guy. a lot of Final Fantasy tropes. A lot of Final Fantasy tropes. A lot of plot arcs they use have been in other Final Fantasy games. So be ready for that. Especially 13 and Heavensward. If you played Final Fantasy 13, you know where Heavensward is going. Yeah. I don't know. I just feel like someone needs to warn you about not even the negatives, just the small quirks of Final Fantasy. It's a really good game. It's just no one's willing to talk about the negatives of it. And so if you're looking for like a YouTube video of the negatives of Final Fantasy, it'd be pretty hard to find. So I figured I'd do it. Okay. This video is going to be a bit edited. Hopefully it turns out better than the last one. If not, then oh well, right? If you made it this far in the video, thank you. I don't want to sound like that guy, but please like and subscribe. Because it does help, I think. I don't know. I've heard it helps. But this has rambled way too long. And I got some editing to do, so, I also got some clips to find. How much fun. Okay. Artifact out.